also becomes negative. In quadrant 3, we have x being negative and y being negative, which means that only 10 will be positive, because 10 is the function y over x. Negative divided by a negative would be positive. Cos would be negative because x is negative. Sine would be negative in quadrant 3 because y is negative. In quadrant 4, cos is the one that's positive because its x value is positive, y values are negative, which would make sine and tan both negative. C-A-S-T, cast. Remember that? Cos is positive in quadrant 4, all of them are positive in quadrant 1, sine is positive in quadrant 2, and tan is positive in quadrant 3. And that gives us the basis of reduction. Now let us do one more reduction, and that will be of 10. Tan of 150 degrees is the same as tan of 180 degrees minus 30 degrees, which is going to equal tan of 30, except because it's 180 minus, it means that it's in quadrant 2. Tan is negative in quadrant 2, so the answer will be negative tan of 30 degrees. Tan of 150 degrees becomes negative tan of 30 degrees. Now notice that thus far all of our reductions have been off the x-axis, either 0 degrees plus or 180 degrees minus, and we will be working with 180 degrees plus or 0 degrees minus. That brings us on to a few standard rules we can apply whenever working with any reduction formula. The first is sine of 0 degrees plus theta is equals to sine of theta. Cos of 0 plus theta is equals to cos of theta, and tan of 0 degrees plus theta is equals to tan of theta. Please note that 0 degrees is exactly the same as 360 degrees. The next angle we're going to look at is 180 degrees. Sine of 180 degrees minus theta is equals to sine of theta. Cos of 180 degrees minus theta is going to equal negative cos theta. Keep this one in mind. It's 180 degrees minus theta, which means that it's falling in the second quadrant. In the second quadrant, you will recall that cos is negative. Hence, cos of anything that falls in the second quadrant will work out to be negative. Tan of 180 degrees minus theta is equals to negative tan theta. The next reduction is a quadrant 3 reduction. That's angles between 180 degrees and 270 degrees. Sine of 180 degrees plus theta is going to equal negative sine theta. Again, that's because in quadrant 3, sine is negative. Cos of 180 degrees plus theta is equals to negative cos theta, and tan of 180 degrees plus theta is equals to tan theta. Quadrant 4 reductions, that's between 270 degrees and 360 degrees. Sine of 360 degrees minus theta is equals to negative sine theta. Cos of 360 degrees minus theta is equals to positive cos theta. Tan of 360 degrees minus theta is equals to negative tan theta. I want you to have a go at the following exercise. I do not want you to use your calculator. All you need to do is take the big angle and reduce it to an acute angle. For example, sine of 230 degrees is going to equal sine of 180 degrees plus 50 degrees, which is equal to negative sine 50 degrees. That is the answer I am looking for. You do not need to go any further. Press pause on your DVD player, and when you return, we'll go through it together. The first one I gave you to do said sine of 150 degrees. That's going to be the same as sine of 180 degrees minus 30 degrees, which is going to equal positive sine 30 degrees. The reason positive, again, because it's in quadrant 2. Quadrant 1, that's quadrant 1, which means that all of them are positive. Sine, tan, cos. The next one I gave you to do read cos of 210 degrees. That's going to equal cos of 180 degrees plus 30 degrees, which is equal to cos of 30 degrees. But cos of 210, because it's 180 plus, which means that it's in quadrant 3. Cos is not positive in quadrant 3, cos is negative in quadrant 3. So the answer, cos 210 degrees, is the same as negative cos of 30 degrees. And you can check that on your calculator if you wish. The third one read tan of 330 degrees. That's going to equal tan. Remember, we're doing x reductions, and we're making it an acute angle smaller than 90. So it's no use saying 180 degrees plus whatever. 180 degrees plus 150. It's no use in saying that. But if we work backwards here, we can say it's the same as 360 degrees minus 30 degrees, which is going to equal negative tan 30 degrees. The fourth one I gave you to do read cos of 110 degrees. That's the same as cos of 180 degrees minus 70 degrees, which is equal to negative cos 70 degrees. Negative because, remember, cos is only positive in quadrant 4 and quadrant 1. It is not positive in quadrant 2. If it's 180 degrees minus, it means that it's falling in quadrant 2, which means that cos is negative. Sine of 190 degrees. Sine of 190 degrees is the same as sine of 180 degrees plus 10 degrees, which is going to equal negative sine 10 degrees. Remember, sine is not positive in the third quadrant. 180 plus puts us into the third quadrant. The sixth one that I gave you to do read sine of 290 degrees, and that's going to equal sine of 360 degrees minus 70 degrees, which is equal to negative sine 70 degrees. Negative because it's in the fourth quadrant. Sine is negative in the fourth quadrant.